Okay, welcome everyone. Welcome to today's episode of Being Present with Leonard. I'm not sure how many of these episodes I'm going to do. We'll probably switch to some other way of presenting this teaching to you. Anyway, who knows the future? Who knows what will happen? Not me. Anyway, let's remember that this is a teaching about presence. And so I invite everyone to become more and more present in this moment. Just tune into your body breathing. Be aware of everything around you. Be aware and sense the feeling of your feet touching the floor. Your body breathing. You can be present with what you see, with what you hear, feel, taste, touch, or smell. In other words, we come back to our senses, and then we can experience what's really here. As long as we're not projecting the dream onto the present moment, which is what almost everyone does. We don't experience the present moment as it truly is. We experience our perception of the present moment, our experience of the present moment, but that's so often distorted and discolored by our projections. Whether we're projecting our judgments, we're projecting the past. Oh, I don't need to be present with you, tree. I already know trees. So there's no need for me to be present with you. Well, what a missed opportunity that is. There are just so many ways to be present. Let me check that everything's going well. Okay. There are so many ways to be present. You can be present with what you see in this moment. If your eyes are closed, you can be present with your body breathing. You can be present with the feeling of your feet touching the floor or your hands touching whatever they're touching. You're just present through the senses, the sense of touch, smell, taste, sight, hearing. You can be present with anything you're hearing in this moment, but you have to be fully present with it to really hear it, free of your projections. So awakening is really going beyond our own projections, our own opinions, our own thoughts, our own concepts, our own judgments, even our own perception. We go beyond our own perception to what is really here. Then you will be amazed. When you come out of the maze, that is the world of the mind, you will be amazed. You'll experience the oneness, the love, the presence that is in everything. And it's that presence that is in everything, including you, including every tree, flower, cloud, bird, dog, elephant. Everything has within it, this energy of presence has a quality of presence. But we don't feel that, we don't sense that, we don't see that. We're not aware of that presence if we've become absorbed into the world of the mind, which is exactly what has happened to everyone. So we just come back to our senses. Close your eyes, if you would, and just instantly be present with your body breathing. There's really nothing else you need to know in this moment. Your body breathes in, your body breathes out. That's all you need to know in this moment. You can also be present with the sound of my voice if I'm speaking, or any other sound if I'm not speaking. You can also be present in the movement of your body. If you want to scratch your head, that's okay, but make it like Tai Chi, where you're very, very present in the movement of your body as you scratch your head. This is a great way to brush your hair in the morning. Just be very, very present. It's a great way to start the day. Before you get out of bed, just take a few moments to really tune in to your body breathing, to the sound you hear, to the feeling of the bed beneath you. Before you get out of bed, become present. It will set the mood and the energy for the whole day if you really do become present. You can be present having a shower. You notice you're thinking, just stop thinking. Oh, don't stop. I can't say stop thinking. That's a bad That's a bad piece of advice right there. You don't stop thinking, you just shift your focus to something that is in the present moment. It could be your body breathing. It could be the sound of music if you're playing music. It could be anything, but that will take you, just by being present, that will take you out of the mind and out of that world of never-ending thought. It's really so simple. It's beyond me why everyone is not awake and present, because it's so simple and it's so gorgeous. It really is. It's a totally different dimension of life. It's a totally different dimension of who you really are. And the truth is, who you really are is you are a living expression of God. And you have all the qualities of God, which are intelligence, love, unconditional love, divine love, acceptance in the sense that there's no judgment within you. You are now awake in true power. You would never abuse anyone, nor would you allow yourself to be abused. You know, what's happening in so many places in the world at the moment, particularly in Ukraine, is an incredible abuse of power. And if you abuse power, whether it's over a country or over another individual, whether it's your wife, your husband, your children, a friend, it doesn't matter who it is, any time you abuse power, you're accumulating karma. And you're going to experience the other side, not the abuser, but the abused. I'm not going to go further into that, but it's really, really, really worth bringing to consciousness, to awareness, how your words and your actions are affecting other people. Are your words or actions uncaring, unkind, abusive? Because if they are, you might want to bring all that to consciousness and have the intention to be a better version of yourself tomorrow. Okay, so I have a number of questions that I'm going to answer. I don't want this to go on for too long, so I'll start on that right now. This question is from Neeti from Perth in Australia. Hi, dear Leonard. Hope you are well. Well, I'm getting there. Thank you, Neeti. Would you please talk about manipulation in its different forms and how to recognize when one is being manipulated? I suspect that I get frequently manipulated by people to give them what they want, but doubt my own discernment and don't necessarily recognize it, thinking they are right and I'm almost always wrong. Thank you so much. Much love, Neeti. Okay, so that's an interesting question because we're all constantly being manipulated. And to some degree, we're also all constantly manipulating others or trying to manipulate our way through the dream, to manage the dream, which is really a form of manipulation. So there are many ways, and I'm not suggesting this will be a complete or exhaustive answer, but I'll just share with you what arises for me. There are many ways that we can be manipulated. The most obvious, I think, is emotional manipulation. For example, if somebody says something you don't like and you withdraw energetically, that's a manipulation. If you get angry and try to overwhelm whoever you're being with in this moment, and you express that anger and make them feel that anger, that's actually another form of manipulation. You're very easily manipulated if you're greedy. It's so easy to appeal to someone's greed. Now, I think the biggest issue, though, is not greed, but need. You know, some people who are very astute and good manipulators, they sense what you need, and they're going to give it to you as long as they can manipulate you and get from you what they want. So you have to really, really bring consciousness to all the unfulfilled needs from your childhood, because we're all living with unfulfilled needs. Maybe we weren't hugged enough. Maybe we weren't listened to enough. Maybe our parents weren't present with us enough. Maybe we didn't feel good enough. Whatever it is, it makes us very, very susceptible to manipulation. And so the way out of that, greed and need, as a way of being an opening to being manipulated, is to bring it all to consciousness. If you're greedy, don't judge it. Just walk around and tell the trees, wow, I am the greediest person on planet Earth. Exaggerate, ham it up. Don't be ashamed. Boast about how greedy you are, but don't believe it. It's not true. You're not really greedy, but that's a pattern that developed over many years within your life. Greed is probably based upon a sense of lack. So, which is very, very close to need. Greed and need are quite close together. So what do you need? Was your mother present with you? Was she loving? Was she kind? Were you abused as a child? What do you need? Because these needs, and we all live with these needs, I call them substitute needs. We're all in pursuit of the substitute needs. The only true and original need is so simple. I just need you to be present. That's all I need. When I'm in the womb, Mother, I need you to be present. I need you to sing nice songs to me. I need to feel like I'm being welcomed as a visitor from God. I need to feel that divine opening, so that I feel one with you as I come out of the womb and I'm born. I can feel the presence. I can feel the oneness. In fact, what it will really feel, in fact, what birth really is, let me tell you what birth really is. It's moving from a womb that became too small for you. You couldn't move. You couldn't move. It was too tall. And so all this pressure starts. You get ejected from the womb. But all that really happened is you moved into a bigger womb. Wow. So much space. It feels, but at first it feels terrifying because you don't feel the connection with everything that's in your present moment. You don't feel it. What you need is mother and father to be so present that they, in a sense, reconnect you to the bigger womb. Look, my darling child, be present with the wall or the flower or the painting on the wall. It doesn't matter what it is. But if your parents are present, then you get the whole package. You get the divine love because your parents are present. You get acceptance with an absolute absence of judgment. You get it all. You get the feeling of being such a special, wonderful visitor to planet Earth that you can't wait to enjoy your life fully and experience what life is like on planet Earth. That's fear is another way you can be manipulated. It's not hard to tell when people are afraid. So, now I'm not giving you a lesson on how to manipulate. I'm giving you a lesson here on how to not be manipulated. Attachment, if you're attached to someone or something, that can be a source of manipulation. So too can blame and anger. If somebody blames you, it's a form of manipulation. You're supposed to buy into it and feel guilty so they get what they want. Don't fall for that. Very, very simple. Now let's talk about how do you go beyond being manipulated? And the answer is really so simple. You liberate the repressed emotions, so you're no longer subject to emotional manipulation. You you take full responsibility and bring full consciousness to how you are whenever you notice you're being greedy or needy. You have to bring it to consciousness in a certain way, which is very much a part of this teaching. But you bring it to consciousness in a certain way so that it's not so strong in you. It can completely dissolve. Greed and need can completely dissolve even within the dream. It can dissolve as you become more and more present. You see, greed will prevent you from being present. Need will prevent you from being present. Emotional manipulation will prevent you from being present. Being manipulated will prevent you from being present. Anger and blame, if you take it on, you're not going to be present. So we have to get to a point of neutrality. I don't care what you say about me. I don't care if you judge me or you don't judge me. I don't care if you love me or you don't love me. What matters to me is, am I love? Am I feeling it? Am I being love in the world in this moment? And are you? And if not, be a better version of yourself tomorrow. It's not that complicated. Okay, so the second question is from Frank from Oklahoma City. not sure I even understand this question, but I'll give it a shot. When you talked about wholeness, that resonated a lot with me and inspired me. And I'm not living from that place in my ordinary life. For instance, today I felt sadness, and I felt sadness when I came home tonight. It feels like I'm always running into the same thing, which I assume is sadness, that I can't quite integrate or get over it. Any guidance? Well, very, very simple guidance. You have to come into right relationship with everything. You have to come into right relationship with your ego, with the inner child, because it's quite likely the inner child is the one carrying the sadness. It won't be the ego, but it could easily be the inner child. You have to come into right relationship with your feelings. And if sadness is the primary feeling, you have to come into right relationship with it. You can't try and get rid of sadness, but what you can do is investigate. Now, I don't mean investigate with your mind, but investigate by bringing conscious awareness to sadness and every aspect of sadness within you. You ask the sadness, but you ask in a certain way. You ask the sadness, what are you so sad about? And see what arises. You don't know. But if the sadness will reveal to you what it's sad about, it's almost instant liberation. It's the same with anger. You have to come into right relationship with anger, need, and fear, and all the associated feelings. Like, for example, with anger, there are associated feelings like resentment, blame, regret, no, not regret, resentment, blame, and rage. These are all associated feelings. Oh, and hate. Don't forget hate. Hate is nothing other than anger that's become solidified within you because it's been in you too long and you've come to believe in what hatred is telling you. So stop that. Just stop it. Don't believe in your beliefs. Don't believe in what your mind is telling you unless you're embarking upon a path of intentional and conscious planning into the future where you need to think to plan for the future. That's okay. There's nothing wrong with that unless the limiting beliefs come filtering through or the repressed emotions are triggered or judgment arises or you're losing yourself in others, trying to prove yourself. Look how lovable I am. Look how good I am. Look how worthy I am. Then you're going to just take yourself so far back into the dream. But there's nothing wrong with a kind of neutral, intelligent, logical thinking insofar as you're living within the world of time. You can live in the world of time without being caught in the dream. Even though I would say technically, any moment outside of the present moment is the dream. But I'm willing to allow you to live in the world of time as long as the dream is not penetrating through. And I'm only joking when I say I'm willing to allow. Everyone's free to do whatever they want and find their own way. So come into right relationship, Frank, with your feelings, particularly the feeling of sadness. Now, when I say you have to come into right relationship with all these things, the ego, the inner child, the limiting beliefs, the repressed emotions, how you lose yourself in others, what does that mean, right relationship? Well, it means that from presence, you bring to whatever shows up the energy of love, acceptance, and compassion. It doesn't matter what it is. If it's the ego, bring the energy of love, acceptance, and compassion to the ego. This will surprise many people, but even bring the energy of allowing to the ego. My beloved ego, if you want to stay forever in control of my life and me, if you want to continue to keep me separate from love, truth, and God and oneness, that's your call, ego. You are allowed, if that's what you want. But at that point, I'd probably like to have a discussion with your ego, a dialogue with your ego, to help you come into right relationship with it. Okay, Frank, so hopefully that is helpful. And you can't try and get rid of sadness. That's probably at a very unconscious, subtle level. That's probably what you've been trying to do. If there's sadness there, it's there for a reason. What is that reason? Where does it come from? What is the source and origin of the sadness repressed and buried within you? Where does it come from? You know, you can ask God. You can become very present and ask God, beloved God, what is the source and origin of this feeling of sadness that I seem to be living with? What is the source and origin? Please bring it into my consciousness, into my awareness. You can also ask the sadness to express. But it's how you ask. You have to be present and you have to genuinely want the answer. Okay, so that's enough for that. Let's see, this is from Jacob from the United Kingdom. Okay, all right. Jacob from United Kingdom. Hi, Leonard. Could you comment on Advaita teachings? I love Advaita, but the way it is presented by some teachers seems to be missing something. Love, God, compassion, and common sense. Thank you. Well, I'm not sure about common sense, but certainly the Advaita teachings can often lack that sense of love, God, and compassion. Because as far as I can tell, and I don't know much about Advaita, that's my confession. I know a little bit, but not a lot. I've never read any of the Advaita texts. I've never read anything of Brahmana or Nisargadatta or any of them. But on the other hand, I know that I awakened into oneness, which I know that is what Advaita is all about. It's about opening into oneness, transcending duality. The problem with Advaita, as I can sense it at this stage, is there are too many concepts. You know, you can't have any concept. You can't have an idea about what it is you're looking for. You can't have an idea that you're on an Advaita path and you're searching for nothingness. A lot of people on the Advaita path, they're searching for nothingness, but I can promise you if they find it, they're going to freak out. They don't really want it. They want to escape in some way. Now, I'm not going to generalize, and I'm certainly not going to comment about other Advaita teachers. And, you know, I support and love everyone who is sharing teaching with anyone that might support their awakening. So, you know, the bottom line is we each have to find our way to the teacher that is appropriate at this time in our journey, at this stage of our journey. For now, it might be me. 2 weeks from now, it might be someone else or not. That's entirely up to you and up to everyone. My own experience, I think a lot of people that have had Advaita awakenings that have opened them into Advaita, everyone's experience is going to be different. And what they teach will be a reflection of what they experienced and opened up into during their Advaita moment or many moments. I know for me, what opened up for me, the primary, of course it was oneness. There was just no doubt about it. But not even for a second. It was 100% total, uncompromising, unyielding oneness. Total oneness. So let's go with that. But what was even stronger was the feeling of love. That's what happened to me. I mean, after my first awakening, and I've had several, 6 to be precise, over about 18 years. But during the first awakening, I was completely and totally intoxicated with love. All I could do was go for a long walk along this dirt road by a river. There were cows grazing in the meadows, and all I could do was sing love songs. I made them up. They weren't love songs that I was familiar with, but I would just sing these love songs. I'd sing to the cows, to the trees, but more importantly, I was just so overflowing with love. I'd never experienced anything like it before. And I now know that that's really the love that emanates from God. It's divine love. It's not like the love we experience in our normal human lives. It's really not. It's another dimension or many dimensions beyond that. Now, I'm not in any way being negative towards love in our human lives. Of course, that's wonderful too. That's beautiful. Love your children, love your wife, love your family, love your friends, love all the people in Ukraine and Russia. I don't think loving Putin would help much, but who knows? I'm not going to get into that. All right, so that was my experience. Love, and not only love, not only oneness, but an extraordinary connection with God. In one moment, I knew that God existed. Prior to that moment, I was an agnostic. In one moment, I knew, and not only did I know that God existed, but I knew that God was the silent presence at the very heart of all things present, including me and including you. We are all living expressions of God. Every tree is really the body of God. Every flower, every ocean, every river, every mountain, it's all the body of God. It's God as the creation. If you want to find God as the creation, the creator, then first find God as the creation. But to find God as the creation, you have to become very, very present, free of those projections that I was referring to. So that was my experience, but I've never called it Advaita. I've called it what I experienced it as, which was awakening, love, God, oneness, and let us not forget, heaven on earth. I've had almost each of my 6 awakenings have involved me awakening into a full realization and full experience of heaven on earth. Heaven on earth. And, you know, in those moments, there's just no doubt. It doesn't mean you go into your mind and think, but there's just no doubt. You just know. Now, even if some of us are not destined to awaken fully in this lifetime, what I want to tell you is that's okay too. Just to bring a little bit more presence into your life, day after day, month after month, year after year, just bringing a little more presence will transform your life in a beautiful way without you doing a thing. And that's because all the qualities of presence, intelligence, love, acceptance, no judgment, power, truth, oneness, all the qualities of presence simply begin flowing into your life because that's who you are as you become more and more open to being present. So that's it. Now, what I'm going to do now is read a comment from somebody who posted a comment. I just think it might be nice for you to hear this comment, and it certainly will be nice for me to read it to you. It's fairly long, so be patient, be present, and enjoy. Okay, this is a comment by Carmen from Sedona, Arizona. Now, Carmen is a long-time student of mine from many years ago, and she had, I think it was actually after she first met me, I'm not sure, but she had a very, very, very serious car accident, and it left her body with a lot of damage. So this is her testimonial in a way, or just her comment. This is from Carmen from Sedona, Arizona. There are no words to express the gratitude I feel for you and your sweet teachings. I feel liberated from the painful dream I was living in. As you know, I've been experiencing severe chronic pain for 35 years. It was so bad that I could no longer cope with life, and I was trapped in the scary world of the mind. Every day I had negative thoughts and contemplated suicide. One day, my husband found your book, Embracing the Present, in the waiting room of my massage therapist. He said, "This man is awake, you should read it." So I did. While reading the book, I started to feel very present. My mind was quiet for the first time, even though I had practiced meditation for years. I got your other books and began the journey you speak of in your teaching. I went to see you in Santa Cruz, and my mind was silent for the first 2 hours I was in your presence. And for the 2 hours I was in your presence, I was blown away. It hasn't been easy, But slowly, with your guidance, I began to experience presence in my daily life. I was being present more often, and I was experiencing deeper levels of presence. At first, I thought that I couldn't be present with the pain in the body, that it was just impossible. My experience has shown me that the pain in the body was not the problem. The problem was the suffering in the mind. During your retreats, when you worked with other people, I would work on the same issues within myself. I found I related to all the ego's mischief, no matter who was sharing. I have made peace with the past. I feel my feelings today without fear. The pain in my body has not gone away, but I don't suffer in my mind around it anymore. Today, I feel useful and profoundly happy. Blessings to you, my dear Leonard. That actually almost brought tears to my eyes. I can't sit here on YouTube and start crying, although it's quite easy for me to do. Usually my tears are joyful tears. I get overwhelmed with the beauty of everything and start crying. Anyway, that's just me. Okay, folks, so thank you for watching. Thank you for being part of this meeting. And a few announcements, if I may. Please don't forget to subscribe, like, and comment. I do read all of your comments, and I enjoy reading your comments. I think YouTube pays attention to the number of likes and comments, etc. So that's one announcement. Another announcement is we have a Provence retreat coming up, and you might want to look into that. Just go to our website or to my Facebook page and you'll find information about that. The Provence retreats, I've done about 10 of them over the last 10 years, I think, and they are really, really fantastic. Let me tell you a little bit about what we do there. First of all, it's a beautiful setting in Provence with a very close nearby village. That's number one. Number two, we have about 3 or 4 hours of session with me every day. Then we have time off to enjoy ourselves. We have mini groups. One day on a Tuesday morning, we go for a visit to the local town's market. They have the most amazing market. So we spend the morning at the market. We have lunch in Vaison. What is it? Vaison something Romaine? I can't remember. Vaison-la-Romaine, I think. Anyway, and then on another day, we have a whole full day's excursion to visit some beautiful medieval villages. But mostly it's about the retreat, it's about awakening, it's about love, it's about oneness, and it's about the experience of heaven on earth. So I'd like you to give some serious consideration to whether that is something you would like to participate in. What else can I tell you? I think that's about it. All right, folks, so I'm going to end the love stream right now. I wish you all the very best. I wish you love and many, many blessings. So that's it for now. Thank you.